I've been thinking a little bit about the new Volvos, the Volvo, the new Volvo, the XC90, and the brand new model that is released. It's not released, it's actually shown in an event, I think, a couple of days ago. That's the new, the new old model S90, the same model that was actually available back in the 90s. Anyway, this is not going to be about the models itself, it's going to be about the engines, because I am actually very good at Volvo engines, both when it comes to fixing them, but also knowing what is what. So, for instance, the older models, let's say a T5. I mean, it's simple. It's a turbo 5-cylinder petrol engine. I mean, it's very simple. And a T6, that's a turbocharged 6-cylinder petrol engine. It's very simple. And a T4, that's exactly the same thing, but with 4 cylinders. And a D5, that's a diesel 5-cylinder. It's very simple, and it actually also used to be D4 just recently. That's a 4-cylinder, a turbocharged diesel engine. And there was also a D3, and that's when it starts to, make things a little bit complicated, because for a short little period I actually think that the D3 engine and the D5 engine was pretty much the same engine. I just thought maybe it's a newer version, the D3 version is a new version of the D5 engine. But now they actually have released a whole new series of engines. So the old engines are all gone now. There is not going to be any old engine mounted in these new cars that is available from 2015 actually. And it's very confusing because I don't really like this. It's actually, they doesn't really have anything but 4 cylinders now. There is no V8, there is no 5-cylinder, there is no 6-cylinder, there is no 7-cylinder. No, I'm just kidding. There is nothing but 4 cylinders. And I don't really think that will actually satisfy all people today, because someone who actually buy a very luxury car, very luxury car, would also like to have something a little bit bigger than a 4-cylinder under the hood that actually is sounding like I don't really like the sound of these engines. I recently came across the new XC90. I'm not going to go any deep into that. There is no way I'm going to buy a new Volvo XC90. I mean, I was sure about I was going to do it, but I'm not going to do it just because of the engine, because a 4-cylinder diesel engine in a 2.3 ton steel car. I mean, no. Even though actually I think the engine itself is actually called a D5 engine, but it's a 4-cylinder. So now things are getting very strange here. And you're looking at the new Volvo S60 for instance. Oh, it sounds good. It's a T5, Oh wow, so a T5 engine. Open the hood, pop the hood open and take a look, and there is a small tiny little engine like this. It's a 4 cylinder and a turbo that is this big, and it delivers probably about 200 horsepower. I mean, wow. If I'm looking for a T5, I really want a 5 cylinder engine with that special 5 cylinder sound, kind of like Volkswagen, 5 cylinder diesel sound or petrol sound or wherever. All 5 cylinder engines really sound very kind of like it's a special sound. So I really think that only having 4 cylinder engines, even doesn't matter if it's a petrol engines or diesel engines, I don't think that is the way to go. Because I mean, it doesn't matter if the customer, a potential customer looking for a car, he could easily, he or she could perhaps like the car very much, but is also putting the engine, not in the first place maybe, but the engine is having a big role in this whole buying car stuff, buying the car or anything like that. So I really think that someone looking for, let's say, a Volvo XC90 2015 or 2016 model, looking for with a D5 engine, they are actually going to expect there is going to be a 5 cylinder engine in there. I am that kind of guy that actually, when I'm driving a car, the sound is actually 50% of the pleasure by driving it. So, that's exactly what Jay Leno say as well. He is also that kind of guy, and many more millions of people is that kind of people that actually puts the engine somewhere in the middle of the whole, enjoyment by driving the car. So for me, no, no. These 4 cylinder engines, even though you can get the new D5, I think it's probably somewhere around 178 horsepower or something like that, turbocharged. But that's not enough. And there can never ever be as much torque in a 4 cylinder engine that you have in the old D5 or in a T6 engine. There is no way you're going to get that kind of torque from a 4 cylinder engine. That means that you can feel the power from the bottom of the engine. It's just there's no way that will happen. So I think that the Volvo company actually, I really think that maybe they will do this for now, but they will realize that people looking for new cars will actually ask for bigger engines. I don't think 4 cylinder engines, I don't think that's the way to go, because it's confusing. A T6 engine, all people that knows Volvo knows what a T6 engine is. It's a 6-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine from 2.8 to 3.2 liters. That's a big engine right there. Going into a store like this and looking for a Volvo XC90 or something like that, or something with a T6 engine, and the salesman pop the hood open, take a look at this. Where is the engine? I don't see the engine here. And the seller is kind of like, don't you see the engine? The small little package in the middle there? Oh, there's the engine. Small tiny little engine like this. No, I think some people were I really think a lot of people will actually think that, oh no, I don't really know if I'm liking this. This small engine, of course, it can be a good engine and all that, but for me, half the pleasure of driving the car is actually listen to the sound from the engine. I mean, that's some people is kind of like that way. You're looking for look at the old V70 Volvos. The station wagon Volvos, or any old Volvo, kind of like from the early 90s to late 90s, with the five cylinder engine in there, from 144 126 horsepower for the 2-liter 5-cylinder, all the way up to 225 horsepower from the old version of the T5. I mean, we're talking engines now that actually are sounding like a 5-cylinder engine should sound. I mean, when I step on the gas, I want to hear something happen under the hood. I want to hear the engine sounding like an engine, like there is releasing the power. My old D5 engine is very. I very much like to hear that sound. I mean, in the summer, I can step on the gas. I can hit everything from 3,000 to 4,000 RPM, and the engine just kind of like sounding like a tiger or something like that. It's remarkable. I mean, the sound is, I can't really describe the sound. It's awesome. I would never feel any enjoyment by driving a new Volvo with the new D5 engine. I step on the gas and it's kind of like because the new transmission actually have 8 gears. Yeah, so it's kind of like not 5 gears anymore, it's actually 8. So, well, that's good. That's good actually. Economy and efficiency, everything. That's actually good. But the engine, no. I think the engine. Well, even though the engine can actually be a good engine, but no, it doesn't sound right. I mean, it doesn't sound right. So I think the Volvo company is doing something wrong now. They are thinking they are taking a step in the future by going out and telling all the people, you can forget all about the 5, 6, and 8-cylinder engines now, but don't worry, they will still have the same name. So if you're looking for a T5 engine, that is what you're going to get. You're going to get a T5. But no, that's not the case. They are actually going to get something blah 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 with a 4-cylinder engine. Oh no, I miss the old days. I got a couple of old Volvo 960 with the B6304 engines in there. That's a good engine. I mean, of course, there's problems with a lot of engines, but now we are talking sound from an engine. I had several Volvos back in the days with the D5 engine, the real D5 engine, and that's an awesome engine. The sound is awesome, everything is awesome, and it's all good. So I don't really like this. I am not going to buy a new Volvo for a very, very long time. So for me it doesn't really matter, but I don't like this. I don't really like this. And I actually think that Volvo is by now the only car company that actually only have four-cylinder engines. Well, maybe there is some more, but I'm talking about the bigger brands now. Volvo, Chevy, all the bigger car brands out there. I think Volvo is the only one that only having four-cylinder engines now. So this is actually a 15-minute long video about ranting about the new Volvo engines, and how much I really hate the sound of these engines, and how much I hate that they actually have named the engines exactly the same as before. T6, T5, D5, D4. It's confusing. I mean, it's very confusing. I was kind of like released, kind of like, oh wow, at least they kept the old engines, when I was noticed about the new Volvo XC90. But no, they didn't. They only kept the name. The engine is something totally different. So yeah, I will not keep talking about this, but I don't really like this. I will not feel any enjoyment by driving a new Volvo. Maybe I will like the car itself, but the sound from the engine must be there. The sound that I'm looking for must be right, or else it's not right. And I gotta go with what I think is right for me. And what is right for me, that is something a little bit bigger than four-cylinder engine. That's for sure. Take care now. Bye bye then.